Coming out here a little earlier today. There's still a lot of dive bombing in the front of this robber screen. I wanted to catch some of these bees coming in with the pollen. And today I see a lot of orange pollen. There goes one. There's another one. So that could be that flower out there. I don't know. It seems more yellow than orange to me, so I don't know where these guys are picking this stuff up at. We're going to go out and start going over the wood that I was preparing. And I was looking at all the multitudes of plans that are online that you can see as far as building a nook. I'm just looking at the idea that the only thing I need to worry about is the internal dimension. And I was a little bit wondering about what I needed to do as far as how to overlap things in its construction to staple it all together. So let's go over to the wood pile. As you can see, kind of the way of the desert. I stripped down the sides of that wooden crate because I wanted to double up on those panels, and cleared out all the staples, cut them flush, pulled out a few, got rid of any nails, and then put the wood glue in between, spread it out with geez, what am I thinking of? A putty knife. Spread it out and compressed it overnight with what I had laying around. I didn't have any clamps or anything like that to clamp it down with, so you got to do what you got to do. We're going to take it apart and see what it looks like. So I'm figuring the only thing that really matters is the internal dimensions of this box. It needs to be 19 1/8, which is basically the length of the frame, and it needs to be 7 1/2 so you can stack 5 across and have a little room on both ends. And for a deep frame, fall down, it needs to be 9 3/4 deep. And that's really pretty much what I figured you got to worry about. I need my square that has measurement tape marks on it. Fast forward. All right, more tools. Tools everywhere. Tools I can put away. And I figured what I got when I was looking at it last night is I've got my two sides here. And there's some cracky flaws here. Same with this one, has a big crack right here when the crate got torn down. It's a really nice side. I think is 9 3/4. What is this? Yeah, see, this isn't even 18 wide, so it's not like I can double it up, make two sides. It's got to be 19, so that's 19 over here to that end. I mean, what I was looking at is this was plenty big and plenty thick for my top and bottom, and if I cut it to the length, then I thought I had my sides. Because this I was looking at using for that lip to hang the frame on. So this, I'd cut a piece off of this, and this would be my lip on the inside, like that. Now, it looks a little tight, but figure it out. Because either way I'm looking at it, since I doubled all this stuff up. Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it's going to be. Be a little tight, but I think it'll be okay. I know, I can't remember what I did last night. It was getting dark. I was gluing this down. I was stacking up rocks, and so give me a pause, and I'm going to look at this again and figure out, map out my pieces. Good news, everybody. I managed to, oh, where did that come? Oh well, a little oil came from something. You know what? There's some nasty stuff on the bottom of that. Get out of here, foul beast. Don't be brushing up against any of you. Don't need that anyway. Well, I got a side. And I made an adjustment based on the idea of, do you have a bottom board that is detachable, or do you have a bottom board that I'm going to nail on? I don't know yet. I just went ahead and kind of rounded up the number, made it 10 deep, and we'll go from there. Other than that, my length here fits the frame. The front and the back are going to, I actually have a big enough piece here. I could use it for, I could use it on the back, but it's kind of wonky on the edge. I got to cut this down anyway if I were to use it. But anyway, so this is going to be constructed. I don't know where my camera angle is here, but it's going to go on the outside like that. And then, of course, as far as, let me grab a little sliver of something here, just for demonstration purposes. Then there's going to be a full length piece on the inside like that for the lip for the frame. So, yeah, we're on our way. I'm going to go and grab the other piece here. Figure out exactly where, you know, I want. I already kind of marked, there's a bad on the other side here, there's bad to here, so I'm going to rip this all the way down. Of course, I want to take one side off, get this unevenness off. This is cut all the way to here, so I will probably take at least this much off to get rid of the defects. And check this other side. Yeah, I got a little bit of, that'll go to the outside. This will be my inside. And see, I got plenty of room in that space to rip that off or cut it down wherever I need to do it. So I'm going to save your ears and go ahead and do that off camera and move on. So, good news, everyone. Not only did I cut out 2 pieces now, and was figuring out that this scrap piece that I have here is wide enough for the sides, and in fact it's wide enough for the top, the bottom, everything so far, but I'm going to use this for the sides. So I got this big piece to figure out what I want to do as far as the bottom board and the top and all that. BeeFit Beekeeping, I think her name's Erica. That's the one who was suggesting that if you have a small colony in a big box, you might want to put that colony into a small box. So that's where we're at. I know this is taking forever. Of course, I've got zero money into this scrap. Some wood glue, some elbow grease. I've got a few flaws cutting out that really didn't have much to do with my laminating. This was the lamination from the individual pieces right here, like that. So I'm gonna have to put some glue in here, and I'm gonna have to clamp it, get that. And I've got an old skill saw from the 80s with a panel saw blade in it that is probably needs to be replaced. It's a little dull, but it's doing the job. I don't have a table saw anymore. I used to have an old like benchtop table saw that was from like the 40s or 50s that was on a 2x4 stand with a motor on a door hinge that kept the tension on the belt by its own weight. And I don't even remember what happened to it. The last couple of moves that we had made years ago, I guess I gave that table saw up. I had a chance to get a table saw, a really nice big table saw with all the attachments, and at the time I didn't think I needed it. I'm not really a woodworker, and I didn't have the room for it. It was a contraption. Considering next year trying to find something in a table saw so I can actually do a little bit more as far as building things like this in better quality and a little bit more of a production scale. So anyway, I guess I need to work on this piece of wood. This should be simple. It's pretty square. I got to pull out some staples. I need to cut it to length, cut 2 pieces, and then figure out what my entrance is going to be, which I think I'm just going to cut a notch entrance on it. And depending on whether or not I use something in a bottom board that I'm just going to staple on, and it's going to be, you know, only accessible from the top, or am I going to make something in a bottom board that I'm going to stack? Not quite sure yet, so we're going to move on. Okay, so I kind of had myself set on making a stackable, the removable bottom board. You can see it's the proper width here. I got these side rails, I got the bottom board. All I need to do, I'm not going to have a huge opening like that. What I need to do is, you know, set the opening to right about there. And I may even, what I'll do is I'll make a reducer out of this stuff, out of some scrap, so I'll have my opening about that width right there. Just cut a couple of strips of this, be able to do whatever I want to. So that, and when I stack this on top, I might get some latches on the side to hold it together, because I know this is small, be real easy to knock over or blow over. Going to have to put a rock or a brick on it for now, or wrap it with a bungee or a strap. I think I can find a strap or a bungee laying around, you know, like a long trucker bungee. So I'm going to figure out my landing board length, and I think I want to go ahead and get the bottom board put together, and then I'll start putting together the box. I've got these pieces, and then I need to make the pieces that slip on the inside to hang the frames on. So coming along slowly but surely, taking a couple breaks in between, you know. All right, well, had a little bit of a break, had to run an errand, so we are actually getting somewhere. I used Gorilla Glue. You can see the foamy goodness, so it would seal up. Got out the stapler, already scraped the excess glue out, pretty much. A little bit of excess glue. I think it's going to matter too much, so I guess this is my baseboard. You'll see have this much of a landing board here. Leave me room to put a robber screen. So I'm probably going to end up having to put a robber screen on this one. Also, I'll be able to take a piece of this, cut off a couple of chunks here like that, or I think that'll work. If I just cut a piece off and cut a piece off, it'll look like that from the outside, and I'll have an entrance reducer. Okay, well, I guess it's time to build the box. So, get rid of this stuff. But yeah, I kind of like it. Should work. I'm going to paint all this too. I've got some. I know I got paint laying around that I can paint it with. But yeah, I'm going to paint it. Okay, next step. Well, I got into a couple of videos while I was working and I got ahead of myself and just had a spurt. So I built the box. As you can see, the frames are in there. It has the it has that board on the inside for the lip right here. So the box is built. That's it. I figured here, I'll grab this scrap piece. This was one of the chunks of scrap that I pulled off that will fit right there for a reducer. I just need to cut it to fit. I'm just going to cut two pieces so I have an opening in the middle for a reducer. Well, it's almost there. You can see as the video is progressing, I'm in full sunlight now. It's kind of hot out here, so I've been taking liberal breaks. But there you go, plenty of room. Now I just need to make that lid. I forgot what they call it. I don't know if I'm going to make a telescoping lid. I still have a lot of pieces of material over there. I could run it like that and I could telescope it. I know that the other lid that fits flush on both sides and you just have a lip here and here is good enough. I forgot what they call it. You know, and then you put a piece on that side like that, and then I need to like grab a couple of pieces of this for a handle to be able to pick it up from the front and rear. So we're almost there. Okay, this has been a very long day, and I mean, I know there's other people who will knock out 20 nooks an hour, but you know, like I said, this was pretty much free to me as far as the bulk of the materials went. I had some paint that was left over from another project, and there you go. That's the bottom of the bottom board. I didn't paint the inside of the bottom board. I don't know what I'm going to do as far as the portion of the landing board part, if I'll paint it or I got a little bit of beeswax that I can coat it with. As you can see, it looks really good. I'd say about the only thing is when I cut this inside board, it's not as deep as I would want it to be, but if I put a double bubble on top of this and then put the top cover on it, I think I'll be fine. As you can see, I've got plenty of room to move the frames around and pull them and then center them back up. They fit in there well. It looks good as far as that's concerned. And I went ahead and did a full telescoping. As you can see here, I got it flipped upside down. I just painted the bottom edge I'm not going to paint this. I'm a little sloppy back there, but you know. Anyway, it's cleanup time. I got all this junk laid out here, and I need to put it all away for the night in a pile of scrap that leftovers. Oh my God. So there it is. I wish I could, you know, the paint's wet. I don't want to fool with it. I did have a bee. It was funny. I'm over here painting. I had a bee land right here on the corner, and I said, we're not open for business yet. Sorry. But anyway, I don't know. What do you think? Oh, I know I didn't. Since I can't put it on the bottom, or this is my two-piece entrance reducer there. So there you go. All right. And I guess I'll figure out how to relocate them. And I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, I cut them out and destroyed their entire hive, took away every ounce of resource that they had, threw them into a brand new box with nothing in it, and okay, they're surviving. I can't imagine how I could go wrong by pulling all the frames out, setting them in here, you know, swapping the boxes, setting all the frames in here that I want to set in here, and shake out all the bees off of the other empty frames that are hanging around, and not have them live. I can't imagine that won't work. I mean, I still put out the question on Facebook. I put out a little bitty clip of video that showed the frames that I had inside that 10 frame. You know, what quantity I had in there. And so far I had one person tell me to feed them. So that's about it. But I'm just thinking I can do this. I mean, I don't want to be overconfident because, you know, that's what David Byrne said. Don't be overconfident. Don't think you know it all. And I don't. But I can't imagine if I cut them out from underneath the house that I won't be able to take care, you know, be able to relocate them. Right? I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right.